So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how my night went from yesterday. It was a pretty good night, all things considered. I played volleyball at the community center, had a good time with the buds, went out for some food after. We got some Japanese barbecue, which was delicious. And once I got home, I was like, okay, I need to think about what we're going to talk about tomorrow. What topics are relevant and what things can garner good discussion. And I was thinking about making a video about the Montreal Canadiens and their prospects at the World Juniors. We can still make that video for sure, but this video is not that. Because while I was prepping up all my information, trying to see, who was there, what did they do, trying to recap what good things we saw out of these guys, I stumbled upon an update with the Montreal Canadiens that just went so under the radar for me that upon reading and understanding what was going on, it literally had me saying out loud, okay, what the and you can fill in the blanks after that. This update is one that I have no words to even go out there and describe. This may be, okay, say I have no words and then immediately start talking with some words after. I'm kind of contradictory. This may be one of the most ridiculous things that I have seen personally in a very long time. If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, you're probably tuning into this video just for the update, but let's go out there and talk about this right here. Our subject of today's Montreal Canadiens video is one of the two guys who is on track to returning after recovering from an injury. The Habs have two guys that just started skating yesterday, and it was a pretty good piece of news, all things considered, because, hey, these guys are a part of the Canadiens roster. Some of them are a little bit more, let's just say, important or impressive than others, but both of these guys made their grand return to Habs practice during January 5th's session. You had yourselves a tweet here made by Renaud Lavoie. It is Raphael Harvey-Pinard and Tanner Pearson. Now, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't really care too much about a video topic like this. Oh, the Canadiens have two guys that are injured and they're starting to skate again. Amazing. Like, we didn't make a video about Carlsson when he started skating with the Canucks again, so what gives here? Well, here's the thing. I didn't actually realize why Tanner Pearson, of all people, was injured in the first place. But upon reading this article, which I will leave a link to in the description on Montreal Hockey Now, this was published out there by Marc Dupont, Canadiens practice notes, Pearson and Harvey-Pinard, Laval call-up. Take a look at what Dumont goes out there and writes about in regards to Pearson. Tanner Pearson is currently recovering from a hand injury that occurred on December 9th versus the Buffalo Sabres. The recovery period was expected to be 4 to 6 weeks. Now, if you are just a regular old Canadiens fan and you don't know anything about the Vancouver Canucks side of Tanner Pearson's career, you may be scoffing at that comment and saying, okay, well, the guy got hit with a puck. Like, what gives? He got hurt, he's out for a few weeks. What's the big deal, Lego? But I'll tell you this right here. When I read this paragraph, my jaw was on the floor. I immediately shouted out, wait, what? Are you kidding me? Tanner Pearson got hurt on the hand again? One of the big reasons that Tanner Pearson was so inactive as a Vancouver Canuck, especially towards the final stages of his career, you might note that in his Vancouver days, he had 12 points in 19 games after getting traded over to Vancouver from Pittsburgh. Very good production. 45 points in 69 games played in his first season. Very good production, but then started to falter year by year. 18 points, 51 games in that North Division shortened season. 34 points, 68 games in the 21-22 season. Didn't play the entire year, he was hurt. But in 2022-2023, Tanner Pearson only had 14 games played and 5 points. Now, part of the reason he only had 14 games played was because of what was, I'm going to call, one of the biggest Vancouver Canucks controversies of last year. And I say that knowing that there were many controversies from last year. The JT Miller is a bum situation, the Bruce Boudreau getting fired but not really situation, the Francesco Aquilini is meddling and he's interfering too much conversation. But this conversation with Tanner Pearson was a really big deal, because he also suffered from a hand injury. And it was one of these things where you actually saw the Canucks and their health management staff kind of goof up. Here's an article back from December 13th, 2023, written about how Montreal Canadiens forward Tanner Pearson will be out 4 to 6 weeks with an upper body injury. Now, that is not the big thing that we're talking about. Like, this is the recent thing. He's in this right now. The Canadiens announced they're placing Pearson on the IR because he was injured in the first period of Montreal's game against the Sabres on Saturday after taking a puck off the hand. He left the game and was ruled out during the first intermission. So I'll say, firstly, of course, it sucks to see that happen, but then again, this is the game that we play. Or not we, but it's the players' risks, because they know things like these can happen. But this article on Daily Faceoff talks about what happened with Pearson before. Pearson's right hand was the one that was hit in the Canadiens' 3-2 win over the Sabres. It's worth noting, though, because Tanner Pearson missed most of last season after breaking a bone in his left hand in November while with the Vancouver Canucks. He was expected to return at some point, but a second surgery was needed to clean up post-surgical infection, a process that drew ire of fans and teammates alike. Now, this was one of the most underrated and, let's just say, forgotten about controversies of Vancouver's 22-23, the Tanner Pearson hand thing. Because if you go over to this article published by David Quadrelli from 11 months ago, where Canucks Quinn Hughes says teammate Tanner Pearson's injury wasn't handled properly, it goes over the timeline of this last year situation, and this is why my jaw was on the floor. Montreal fans, buckle up, because this is a rinse and repeat story. Tanner Pearson was injured in the Montreal Canadiens game against Vancouver on November 9th, 2022, and had surgery on his hand the next day, with an original timeline of 4 to 6 weeks for recovery. Pearson was recently hitting the ice and appeared to be gearing up for a return before hitting a setback that required him to get another surgery on Wednesday. Following the Christmas break, head coach Bruce Boudreau said he wasn't sure when Pearson would be back, but there was a chance he'd be able to join the team on the current road trip. Instead, Pearson is done for the year. The announcement came Thursday morning from GM Patrick Allvin via the club's Twitter account. 3 hours after the original tweet, a follow-up tweet was sent out that added information that Pearson's surgery yesterday was his second procedure since the original surgery in November. So it essentially means that Pearson had gone through 3 procedures in the span of 3 months to heal his broken hand. Now, this is what Quinn Hughes said about the situation, which garnered so much more attention. I feel bad for Tanner Pearson. I mean, it wasn't handled properly. And it's not really a good situation he's got there, and hopefully he's going to be all right. This was a really big comment when Quinn Hughes made it, because back in this time frame, a lot of people were concerned, but nobody really had a clear idea as to what was going on. We didn't know that things were going wrong. We didn't know that Tanner Pearson had multiple surgeries. We just heard that, hey, he was out for 4 to 6 weeks. It's been like 10 now. Where is he? And this comment, I feel like, from Quinn Hughes, in retrospect, this might have been like the main comment that started this entire, oh yeah, wait, Hughes is actually like a leader. He's a really good leader. He stands up for teammates. He fights the good fight. He says the right things. He's not afraid to be bold and take a stance. If it means standing up for the guys on his team, that's a leader right there. This comment, I feel, was the first one in a series of ensuing comments where Quinn Hughes really started to showcase his leadership muscles. But it comes to us in the form of a very unfortunate update with Tanner Pearson, who at the time was recovering from a left-hand injury which would have taken him 4 to 6 weeks, but eventually sidelined him out for the entire year. So admittedly, when I saw Tanner Pearson getting injured in December of 2023 as a member of the Canadiens, I was like, oh, okay, he's out again. Like, he's injured again. He's always been injured. Like, even in the past few years before the hand injury, he was injured other ways. So, yeah, whatever, he's out. But it was only yesterday that I saw the update that he's back practicing on the ice. And after reading a little bit more about it and seeing what he was actually injured with, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, you cannot write this. Hockey gods, come on, stop cutting and pasting scripts from prior years. Why give Tanner Pearson another hand injury? And 4 to 6 weeks recovery time too? The exact same timeline from last year? Now, good on Pearson, he's practicing again, but like, somebody's got to shake me and pinch me on the arm because I think I'm feeling some deja vu here. And that's not a good thing. So Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this very odd video topic, how I was not going to talk about freaking Tanner Pearson and his hand injury, but I felt this was a great opportunity to educate some of y'all on some of the craziness that went on with this guy from last year and how it's pretty much being cut and pasted this year, except with a different team, hopefully with fewer surgeries, and hopefully with an actually guaranteed recovery time. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vancouver Canucks and Tanner Pearson, how they handled the situation, and how the Montreal Canadiens are doing it now. I hope you enjoyed this British Rolls 99, and bye.